Welcome to the Bass and Brews Podcast, your weekly distraction from other high-quality podcasts. And now, your host, Alex from Swamp Rat Fishing, and the co-hostess with the mostest, the Jabberhammer, Paul Roberts.
Oh,
So many intros.
well, I mean, if you're gonna have a professional show like we run on this sumbitch here, we got to have all the intros that get people pumped up and excited. When this show, when they start this podcast, I want them throwing shit and breaking shit. I want them fired the fuck up.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday or whatever fucking day you're listening to this on.
Well, looking at our stats, it's Fridays and Mondays.
Mondays, yeah. Those are great days. We're happy to have you here. We might have a guest pop in a little bit later, but it's probably just going to be me and Paul tonight. We're going to chit chat. Before we get started, though, I'm super happy to announce we have a partnership that we're announcing on the show as of right now. Paul doesn't even know about this one. This is a company that Matty Ice, you guys know that piece of shit, Matty Ice, but he was nice enough to actually hook me up with this company, and they have a really great product. And they're going to be sponsoring Bass and Brews, which is really awesome. And it's basically like, most fly fishermen, they're kind of hindered on where they can fish, and there's not really a kayak kind of built for them. So this episode of Bass and Brews is brought to you by Douche Canoe. That's right, Douche Canoe. It is basically just a stick on the water that you stand on and look like an idiot fly fishing. So make sure to go to douchecanoe.com, use discount code BABCAST, and with every purchase that you make, Matty Ice gets a real piece of fishing gear.
And he'll send you a fly.
Yeah, he'll send you a fly. Douche Canoe.
Hey, this is your weekly distraction from quality podcast content. I want to make an announcement.
Oh.
And Alex doesn't know about this either. I need any of our listeners who are graphic artists or graphic designers, whatever you call yourselves nowadays. We need an intro for the Queen City Chronicles.
We do.
Because Alex does not participate in that one. And so we can't use the Bass and Brews intro because he's not here. So we need, if somebody can message me, text me, something, holla at me so we can get a Queen City Chronicles coming up, because we are doing the Queen City Chronicles again for the 2024 season. By the time you're listening to this, the episode I recorded with Vinny the Commish will be out, and we reviewed 2023, preview 24. This is a good time. So, yeah, holler at me if y'all can do some graphic designing so we can get a proper intro for that little segment.
I mean, what's crazy is maybe I'm going to have to start doing that one, because I'm going to be the only one with a fucking kayak on the show after the bombshell that you dropped last week. You know what I mean?
I still will be fishing.
All right, it's been 7 days since Paul dropped that news, and I'm still fucking flabbergasted by this news. And I think we covered it in brief, but here's what I figured out as I'm pondering. I usually think about this almost every single day in the morning while I'm taking a shit. And it's like, why would Paul do this? And the only thing I can think of is that because he is such, he's made it like his whole aura that he is the tournament angler guy. He doesn't fun fish. He only wants to fish tournaments, only wants to, test his skills against great anglers. And this year was abysmal. I mean, you had a win, which was great, and I thought that was going to carry you into a great 2024 season. Instead,
I had a top 10 in AOI points.
Then it makes no sense for you to get rid of this kayak.
Sense don't make sense if you're full of nonsense.
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, what's this hat you're wearing? It looks like you're wearing a runner's hat. You know those
It
weird little
is-
rinky-dink runner's hat that they wear? It's so weird shape. Looks
Yeah,
like a
it's
runner's hat.
It's like a 5-panel hat. It's from Original Pattern. They were a really great brewery in Oakland. Yeah, they were great. They were my last stop on my brewery bike trips I would make. Totally healthy thing to do on a Saturday is to get up and ride like 20 miles on a bike in one direction and then hit all 15 breweries on the way back in the other direction. Yeah. They were the last stop. It was great.
Speaking of bikes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my way to eliminating all the fat jokes that you can use against me on this podcast.
Okay.
I'm probably
How are you
down
doing
around
that?
10 pounds right now.
Okay. Did you actually weigh yourself yet?
My goal
Okay.
is to lose 70, and it's going to be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
No more fat jokes. You know what's really cool about that though is I can lose weight, not be fat anymore, but
Yeah.
you will never grow any taller.
That's not true. You know, we've
Yes,
been
it's
making
100%
no,
true.
no. Listen, all this
No,
sponsorship
you-
money
that
we just
that
got
teeter
from Douche
hang-ups,
Canoe.
that teeter hang-ups you got over there in the corner that you think stretching you out, it ain't,
No.
Alex.
I'm going to use all the Douche Canoe money that we're going to get from the sponsorship, and I'm going to get that surgery where they basically break your legs, and then they like stretch and let your bones, and then they continue to break them over and over. That's the plan for 2025.
Why don't you just get like a 6 foot or 6'5" person's legs,
Yeah.
chop your
Oh,
legs off below the knee, and get some cadaver shins and feet and reconnect them to your knees? You
I
would
wonder
look. You would look like the aliens from Contact. They put the legs on backwards, so you'd
Well-
look like that alien from Contact.
I wonder if that's ever like. Why can't I mean, can you do that? Like, I mean, they put Nicolas Cage's face on John Travolta. They've got to be able to do a full.
That was
leg
a movie,
replacement.
dumbass.
No, it was based on a true story.
No,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Fight me.
I will whenever I finally get to meet you, little short bitch. Look, if we can put other people's hearts in other people's bodies, surely they can connect some legs to make people taller.
I don't know why they haven't. Like, what happens if I just got them amputated, right, and got prosthetics, but I just got them really fucking big?
Oh yeah, you could be like Ting Ting.
Exactly, except for like not murdering my wife. Other than that, but yeah, he had the backwards contact legs too.
The tink tink legs. Tink
Yeah.
tink every time he ran. Tink 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 tink. Man,
Who was that?
that would
Cat
be
Williams?
awesome. You know what? You'd have to. How would you pedal your kayak?
Maybe I'd just sell it and be a bitch like you. No, that'd be really tough. I wonder if there's any amputees out there can let us know. Like, do you prefer the cycle drive or the the walking drive? Right,
You know what-
the fin or the prop? Because I feel like Hobie does have an advantage at that point.
I would say they do too. I
Because-
would say, but yeah, I'm curious. That is a good ask. I want to know if anybody who's listening knows or is an amputee in kayak fishes.
Yeah.
Like, do you just have your foot that goes in, or do you have a special contraption that comes up, or do you just use a motor and say fuck with pedaling?
I think, it's got to be easier because I always tell people, the guy that we were talking about earlier, the guy that hurt himself at work today, he's been wanting to get into kayak fishing, and he's always asking like which one to get. And he's an older gentleman, so I tell him to, find a used Hobie because that's a lot easier on your knees, and
It's the elliptical version of the kayaks.
it is.
And if you talk to the majority of trainers out there, when they're talking about running, walking, and doing anything on a treadmill or something like that, they always say that the elliptical is one of the best ones there is because it's very low impact on your lower extremities, which includes your ankles, your knees, and your hips.
I'll So on the boat, I tried to do this thing where I'd work out, and I did it for a little bit. It was pretty fucking dumb. I don't get how people work out. It's stupid. I'd much rather do an activity to do it, not like sole purpose, right? But I got really into the elliptical because when we were in, seas, like any kind of sea state, running on a treadmill is fucking stupid. Like, it's insanely difficult.
Explain this to me. How the hell did you work? Like, let's say you're trying to bench press, and it's going sideways. Or, but your stabilizing muscles got to be pretty strong to lift weights and work out on a damn ship in some big seas.
So even just like walking around, like most people when they first get to the boat, they're gonna get like super tired and shit right away. It's because you're going up and down ladder wells. You're moving. Like I think like my daily steps, like on a normal import day at work, which was like 6 a.m. to 1 p.m, I was averaging like 9.5 miles of walking in that amount of time because you're constantly moving around the ship, right? And then once you're at sea, now you're doing all that walking, but now you're constantly moving. So you get a bunch of core exercise. A lot of people lose weight as long as you're not a big fat ass and you just sit in the fucking rack all day like a monster and you eat fucking,
chicken
chips
nuggets
all day. Exactly. But when you work out, you definitely have to. So normally like your bench press is set up because it's just like if you're in a kayak or a regular boat, right? You want to take the waves off your bow. You don't want to hit them a beam, right? You don't want to roll, you want to pitch. And so you basically, when you set up the gym, you make it so you're never going to get a roll with it, hopefully, right? It'll just be a pitch. But then you do have to be careful because you'll get a set where all of a sudden you'll have a high one and you're like, oh, fuck, I can't lift it up because you're getting all that force.
It's called gravity.
It makes it fucking exciting, but the worst is running because if you do start getting a little bit of roll or a little bit of pitch, like all of a sudden it's like you're like stutter stepping, and then you got to make like lunges to make sure that you're like not falling off the fucking treadmill. I like the elliptical, but that thing broke like a week after I started using it. So
do people still get seasick on those big ass ships? It was like a 450 foot boat. People still get seasick on them?
Yep, constantly because like I would even get seasick. I had a ton of sea time. The big thing is that like it's not like a Navy ship where those big carriers, they don't feel anything. You're still going to feel shit. Like those carriers, I've been on a carrier in like 15-foot seas, and I thought I was at the dock. Like there was zero fucking movement. This is 420 feet, but the way the boat's designed to like slice through and all this, and just due to its size, you're still going to fucking feel it. Like,
hey, I got a boat question you might not know the answer to. On some of the boats, they got the big old ball at the front, the keel.
Yep.
Some of them have it. Some of them have just, your typical fucking triangle. What's the big ball? What's the advantage of having that big ball on the front?
It's a ballast, so it keeps your front end down more. So when you're on those heavy seas,
so it's a weight.
So instead of popping up over the crest and coming down, so instead of like cutting through the wave, or instead of riding the wave, you're cutting through the wave, and that's what it's for. So that's like your big container ships and shit like that.
The Time Bandit has a big old ball on the front of
theirs.
They
do. Yeah, it's not as big as you think it is. It's a smaller one, and that one doesn't work for shit still. But
yeah, is that what you told Amanda on your first date?
Exactly. I saw a funny video, and I sent it to Amanda, and it was a tattoo parlor video, right? And they were like, when somebody comes in and they want a 5-inch tattoo, how accurate do you think you could be? So they went to these tattoo artists, and they basically had them take a tape measure, but it was like, they couldn't see the numbers on the tape measure, and they had to just lift it up till they thought it was 5 inches. And Amanda's just giggling after I sent it to her. And I was really not really happy that she was giggling because all they had to show was 5 inches, and nobody got it right. And I couldn't tell if, it was a little slight at, because I've told her that 5 inches is like that big.
Hey, you're an old man now. You got two children.
Yeah.
It has done its job. You don't have to impress anybody anymore. You made babies. Everything after the fact is pure gravy for your little pecker. It's all good after this.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's that's been this whole Coley made fun of me for those awesome sweatpants. Friends of ours were like, man, you've just like after you retired, we can tell you're really happy with life because you look like a homeless person consistently. It's like just wear ratty sweatpants, awesome looking hey dudes, a hoodie that's 2 sizes too big, and a beanie or a hat. I haven't had a haircut in fucking 4
It's called a toboggan.
months.
It's called a toboggan.
That's a sled, not a hat, because I don't wear it with a ball on top.
It's not a hat either. It's a toboggan is a toboggan.
It's a beanie. It's a beanie.
A beanie is a skull cap, which is a really thin one that football players wear under their football helmet. The big old fluffy wool or synthetic one that helps keep your head warm during the cold months, that's a toboggan.
Who were we on that called it a watch cap? Because I agree with him. It's called a watch cap.
I have no idea. I can't remember.
But a watch cap.
I can't remember what we did last week.
That's yeah. That's still my favorite when we get comments. They're like, "Oh my God, when you said this, that was so funny." And it's like, I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was weeks ago.
Hey, I can't half remember what I said 5 minutes ago on this stupid ass podcast.
No shit, right? Have you been able to kind of section off the shit that you're gonna sell, the actual fishing gear? I know you want to sell.
It's everything on the kayak.
So you're selling, but what about your actual gear? Like, have you sectioned off? Like, I don't need.
I told you I was keeping most of my lures and most of my rods and reels.
All right.
I told you I'm still going to fish. I'm just going to hop on some boats and do some team tournaments and shit like that.
I don't see it happening, man. I mean, it's sad, but how was your camping trip from last week?
It was absolutely wonderful. It was supposed to rain. Yep. All afternoon Friday. It was supposed to rain all day Saturday. And it wasn't a lot of rain. It was about half an inch total. And it was supposed to rain into the morning of Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. Ended up with a little bit of drizzle Friday and then pretty much nothing all day Saturday and nothing Sunday. So weather-wise, it turned out great. Jordan Lake's down 5 feet. We were pretty much right on the lake in our campsite. I camped with a friend and his 2 little boys. We were in a little secluded site. We weren't close to a lot of people, so the kids could act a fool. It was like being on the beach. They were down there playing and stuff, and there's not a scrap piece of wood left on the ground within about a 50-yard radius. We burn it all.
Can't look with you?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That was the whole reason for going is to take him. You know, he tolerates going fishing.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just not into it yet, and a lot of it's sitting on that little kayak and stuff like that. But camping, he is an awesome camper. I mean, first thing he does is he runs out and he finds 2 or 3 fire poking sticks.
Perfect.
And him and I can sit around a campfire for 2 days and do nothing but sit around the campfire and put wood on it and poke it with a stick. I mean, it's great. It's wonderful. He sleeps in a tent all by himself.
Yeah.
I have him a little REI 2-person frameless tent.
He's in a 2-person by himself, just living that good life. Mm-hmm. Look at that.
Yep.
So, all right. So with you selling the kayak, and it's going to be some decent money because it's a Hobie. What is it? PA 14 or whatever, right? That's
mm-hmm.
You said you needed it to move to this next venture in camping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the Hobie purchase in camping that you're looking to make?
The camping realm cannot be compared to fishing.
But I mean, that one big ticket item that's like going to make...
There's a million big ticket items. I don't tent camp. I'm in a hammock. They can be fairly expensive. You get a sleep system, a good hammock, and that has a good underquilt, top quilt, a good tarp. I mean, you looking $500 to $1,000. But there's, you get into tents. You get into some of these ultralight tents or good camping tents like that. I mean, you're looking at $500 to $1,000. Unless you get into the overlanding and you're decking out your vehicle and you're decking out a trailer and stuff like those overlanding trailers will be $50,000, $20,000, and the car top or the trailer top tents,
mm-hmm.
those are like $2,000 to $5,000. I ain't getting to that level yet.
I used to watch this kid, and I always thought he was living the life like he would overland, I guess is what it's called. I just thought he was just camping in his truck, but it's got a name, of course, like everything. And he would just camp in his truck at these random spots all around the country, and he'd just go fishing. He'd catch some fish. I think he was only like 20 years old, so he could do whatever the fuck he wants, right? He doesn't have any commitments. And he did that, and he ran a whole series on YouTube for like a year where he went all over the 48 went all the way up through Canada and into Alaska, and then I just didn't see any videos from him. So I don't know if he fucking died
or got ate by a damn bear.
I think he probably got like hitched up with some local lady, and now he's just still living his best life out there, just not recording it for YouTube.
There's some badass YouTube creators in the camping realm, and especially the Boundary Waters area of like Minnesota and Canada.
Okay.
There's some people put out some damn good ass shit there.
That's tough though.
And then Alaska.
I feel like that's tougher than fishing content, because how do you make camping something that you want to watch other than gear reviews? Like I totally get that. The gear reviews
of course, like fishing review, gear reviews, fishing, camping, those are always there. But I would tell you it's way more interesting. It's way more interesting.
They have to put a lot of work in to tell a story that actually keeps you interested.
The camping people are great storytellers, and they're great storytellers, but a lot of them can build a video that is just like, an hour-long movie of them camping. It's interesting. You just got to be interested in it. So I don't know. We're not doing a lot of dispersed camping where you just go ride down a road, and around here, the Raleigh area, we just got a ton of state parks that are real close by. So you go get your little grass or a rock campsite and, fart around. That's what we're mainly doing because it's close to the house and it's easy and shit like that. But, we'll hopefully at some point, Carter and I will get to where we do some weekend. We drive out to URA or Western North Carolina, obviously. Tennessee, Virginia, in the mountains where you can get out there and do some mountain camping.
I always wanted to do, you can add this to other failed hobbies, right? And now you can add kayak fishing to yours because you're a quitter. But
I won a tournament. I'm a winner. I'm going out a winner.
I got real into, for a whole winter, no, almost a whole year, right? Green woodworking. Right, where you cut a tree down and then you whittle shit out of it, right? And I got all the Mora knives for it and all this shit. And there's one guy I watched, and he kind of combined some cool things. And I used to love watching him.
He did what? Combined. It ain't a word.
Combined, yeah. Combined, yep. A bunch of things. So he would basically get in a kayak. He would go out, and he'd find a camp spot, set up a camp, but then he would whittle all the shit he needed for it, or he already had the shit. It was just him drinking beer, telling stories as he whittled Santa Claus ornaments. That's the only thing I have from that hobby is that winter I made 45 whittled and milk painted fucking Santa Clauses. And that now all that gear sits in the shed. I got hatchets, all this other shit. Maybe I'll send that shit down to you. Maybe you can use it because
the only whittling I'm doing is cutting wood for the fire. I ain't trying. Here's the deal. I am not artistic. If somebody gave me a piece of wood and said, "Hey, carve a spoon out of this," I would get to the point that all the wood would be gone. I would just whittle it down to there would be no wood left. I'm not an artist. I cannot make shit.
That was one of the things why I started doing is I wanted to make fucking wooden spoons. Go out into the woods, chop down a tree, get it while it's still green, not dried out, right? You go from hatchet to knife and all the tools. I bought them all, the fucking scoop knife.
You're an artist, though. You can draw, but I can't draw a fucking crooked line.
I'm not. I mean, it takes me forever. I want to do something with my hands. It was a great try, and I can make a functional spoon, no problem, right? But there's these guys that make these really elaborate ones, and that's what I wanted to do, and I was not fucking good at it at all.
If I've got to whittle out a utensil to eat with, I can use chopsticks like a pro. So I'm going to make me some chopsticks. Or I'm going to go find a tree that has a fork, that has a limb with a fork on it. And I'm just going to cut it down and have my little wooden fork that Mother Earth provided for me.
When was the last time you used chopsticks? This is completely random.
Yesterday. I use chopsticks almost every day.
So I used to use them a lot, right? And we had Chinese takeout a couple days ago, and they gave us chopsticks, obviously. And my youngest was like, she was like, why do they give this? We're just going to use a fork. And I'm like, well, you can use those to eat. She's like, but nobody knows how to do that. I'm like, I know how to do that. And then I go to show her, and holy shit, I thought my hand was going to cramp up. I barely got any fucking food on those things. Like, it was, I had completely, at this point in my life, at 39 years old, I can officially say I don't know how to use chopsticks anymore. Like, I completely lost that skill.
Our kids, not so much my daughter anymore, but Can't Look Carter, when he eats pasta, I learned how to make the training chopsticks. So if you take the chopsticks when they come in that little wrapper, you take the wrapper off and you roll it up into a little roll, and then you take a rubber band and you take the chopsticks and you take a rubber band and you wrap that rubber band around it, and then you wedge that rolled chopstick cover in there. Then it teaches kids how to use them. And so we got like 4 or 5 sets of homemade kids chopsticks that they use. I listened to a podcast last year. I can't for the life of me remember what the podcast was, but they had this person on there that was talking about eating food with different utensils, wood utensils, copper, stainless steel, and how it changes what the food tastes, your perception of food. I can't get into it, as a long time ago, I can't remember. But I use like when I make a salad, I eat all my salads at home with chopsticks.
Huh. I have the big kitchen chopsticks, I guess is the right way to. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, they're metal.
Yeah.
They're not wood. They're metal, and I use it for like cooking meat in the pan and shit.
Yeah,
right?
they're made to like cook and set small little microgreens and shit like that.
No.
No. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. These are like bigger. So like when we do like steak sandwiches, like, right? Like, you got to cut that steak real thin, and I use these like chopsticks to like move the steak around in the pan and all that stuff, right? But like,
the most overrated sandwich out there is a steak sandwich. It's dumb, because the first bite you take into it, you just pull out all the steak that you have bitten, all comes out of the sandwich.
Yeah.
And then half the meat's in your fucking mouth. And it's just, steak sandwiches are stupid. They don't make any sense.
So I like a steak sandwich, but I totally get what you're saying. The way I like them, though, is like we do it with like a gravy, right? So we'll do like a homemade brown gravy with the steak, and then you throw that on an Omarosa roll, and it holds up better. But I totally know what you're saying. Yeah.
Why don't you just make at that point? Why don't you just make a fucking stew, and dip the bread in the stew? Why make a stupid sandwich out of it?
Well, because
by the time you're halfway through the sandwich with gravy and rare
provolone cheese,
by the time you're halfway through, the bread is soggy. It's like eating fucking bread pudding.
That's how you want it. That's how you want that soggy bread. It soaks up all that flavor. You get a little, a little bam.
Steak sandwiches are stupid. They're dumb. Now, a chopped steak sandwich, like a Philly cheese,
like a cheesesteak,
sure, but that would be a large ground burger at that point that you have.
No, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, you see those guys do it. They're using the same slices that you would use on a cheesesteak, except for they mince it up on the griddle. Yeah.
But just a straight piece of fucking hunking piece of steak between some bread. That's dumb.
No, I mean, these are
even if you slice thin slices, the hell, you know what? Eat the fucking steak like you're supposed to eat it, with your hands and rare.
I mean, it has to be rare, right? Like, I don't trust people who do well done steaks. It boggles my mind when they're like, "Oh, this is an enjoyable meal," and they're sitting there, and it's not even an enjoyable meal because it takes 9 hours to chew through a fucking piece because it's so hearty.
And then you gotta go piss every 5 minutes because you gotta drink water. You gotta eat the steak and drink water like Joey Chestnut in a hot dog eating contest.
Total side note: did you know Amanda's cousin is famous because she was? I don't think it was Chestnuts. It was another guy's. She was the cheerleader
Chestnuts
for him
nuts.
She was the cheerleader. Well, I think she has been a cheerleader for him, but she was a cheerleader for one of the Wing Bowl competitions. She would do this like every year, and you basically dress ridiculous. And
The only food eating contest that I could be competitive in is rice. I could probably eat 5 cups of rice by myself in a minute.
I don't know. What do you mean? You think in like 30 seconds you could eat 5 cups of rice?
Not in 30 seconds, but maybe a couple minutes. I can eat the shit out some rice.
But this is why we're having the weight problem, Paul. It's because you're eating too much goddamn rice.
Well, I've kicked the rice out.
Good.
And part of I'm not necessarily dieting. It's just calories in, calories out.
Yeah.
But I have instant mashed potatoes have been a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Look at here now. I can make some instant mashed potatoes, and you think I'd been in there whipping them up by hand from regular old taters. They're the same fucking thing. They're just dehydrated taters. Anyway, I can do that because I can make mashed potatoes, like thick, delicious mashed potatoes. Or like 2 nights ago, I just added extra water and had potato soup and added in onions and cheese and ground up turkey and stuff.
That's gross.
Oh my God, it was delicious.
Right. I got a question, because this is a habit I had to break from being in the military. It's not when I got out. It was like at the 10-year mark. I was like, listen, this is not healthy living. When you cook a meal, like at home for your family, do you have a basis of what needs to be in that meal?
No, I just cook whatever the fuck I want to cook, and they're going to eat it or not eat it.
Okay, so for the longest time, because this is how the military does it, is you have to have a protein, a vegetable, and a starch.
Yeah, I'm not, no. Look, you come to my house and eat barbecue, there's going to be rice, there's going to be barbecue,
starch,
there's going to be mac and cheese, there's going to be pasta salad, there's going to be...
Yeah, but that's not like but I'm talking on a daily basis. So like a daily basis, when me and Amanda first got together, I saw this very attractive young lady at Starbucks, and I was like, listen, I'm going to make her mine. I stalked her, did whatever, right? And then I come to find out that she's Polish and Italian. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect wife material. She's going to cook. And I brought her all the way out to Cali to come to find out that she can't cook for shit. She can cook. Nice. She just doesn't want to. And she can only cook some certain things. So then I was like, all right, I'll teach myself how to cook. And the only thing I knew at that point was military, right? So there's at one point we're like, man, why are we gaining weight? Well, it's because we were having a goddamn fucking protein, starch. The starch was the big one. Like every meal had to have like rice, potatoes, pasta with every fucking meal, because that's what you get served like on a ship.
I cook 90% of the meals eaten in our house. I cook.
I do too. Yeah.
90% of them.
It sucks, right?
What? No, hell no. I love cooking.
I love cooking, but like on a Tuesday after a long day, the last thing I want to fucking do is cook.
Well, you got to spread it out. So on the weekends, on Sunday, I'll go cook a meal or two.
Meal prep. Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing it more now because trying to lose weight. So, because I have to, anyway, but I'll cook 2 or 3 meals, and they'll be huge meals. And then I'll probably cook 6 or 8 vegetables with that.
Right.
And then obviously there's sweet potatoes and potatoes, and we may or may not cook those, but it's usually the meat and the vegetables. That's what I love.
Yeah. That's all
I'll sit down and eat a whole head of cabbage in 2 days by myself.
Oh man, your fucking gas has got to be
atrocious. Man. I've been doing it so long it don't tear my stomach up no more. I'm immune to that. I'm immune to it.
No,
the brassicas are my favorite of all foods.
I love this episode so far. We're 30 minutes in, and we are talking about our food habits.
It's the off season. It's important. This is the time of year that people start prepping to go camping for all their travel tournaments, especially in the kayak world. They're getting stuff together
that Paul doesn't know about. I mean, at this point, I'm more of an expert than Paul.
The schedules are coming out now, so they're all looking at when they're going, where they're going. Are they going to camp or hotel? And then the food part's a huge part of it too, because if you're camping, you got to cook, and if you're at an Airbnb, you might be cooking. So this is a good podcast episode to get folks to prepare for 2024. Not only that, we're talking about losing weight too. Folks are going to be gaining weight through Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. They're going to need to lose some weight. I've mentioned this before. All the weight that I've gained, it's fucking hard as hell to measure a fish in the boat. I have to work for it. I have to take a really deep breath and blow it out so I can bend over and hold the fish and take a picture at the same time. Boy, hey, my damn life jacket in the winter, it's been cold here recently. I've had to loosen my life jacket all the way up to get around my damn jacket. Shit's been terrible.
I forgot that episode. That was so funny when you let that out, your whole rigmarole. No, I mean, yeah, you're right. I just thought it was funny, but I got totally sidetracked.
Losing weight's a big deal in a kayak because you got to be able. You got to be able to move around. It's been hard to turn around and reach and grab reels and shit. Like I can tell, it's been bad. But this year I probably gained damn near. I bet I gained fucking 30 pounds this year. I went from the 240s. The heaviest I was 275. That's big as fuck, man. I was heavy enough weight wise to be an offensive lineman.
Yeah. We had multiple people contact me about your weight. And I said, well, I just hope he pushes it to the egg so I can get a new co-host.
You don't have to get a new one. You can fire me and bring somebody else on.
No, I don't want to do that.
And then I told you I would just name it
Brews and Bass.
Bass and more brews. Bass ass and brews is what mine would be.
I'm always looking for an angle, so I was hoping you would get bigger, right? So then we could have like a live episode when they put you on my 600-pound life, right? We could do like a little collab with that doctor. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. You know what? I need to get. Well, it's not going to happen now, but I could have got to the point of that Tik Tok I sent you the other day.
Oh
with
boy,
the lady in the hospital.
I had a real. I watched that for an hour in bed with Amanda. And she was engaged in it too. Just really confused. One, this lady had the best chin strap beard I've seen on a lady in a long time. And listen, ladies, I get it. All four of you that listen to this, sometimes you get a little facial hair. It happens. Honestly, like most dudes of a certain age don't give a fuck. But this lady had the full, she's a youth minister fucking chin strap of hair. It was really bad. And I love the title of that live was "Come Eat Food with Me in the Hospital After My Procedure."
Shit.
What a professional. Yeah, there we go. 600-pound life. We're getting there. He just swallowed a shit ton of dip. It had to be.
No, I didn't. What's funny is I come across some weird ass shit on TikTok, and when I come across weird stuff like that, I love to share it with my friends. And nobody ever answers my text back anymore. So all of y'all that are listening, I send texts of my weird TikTok. When I share that with you, I took time out of my day to send it to you. I expect a response back. Thank you.
Hey, but also don't feel special because I'm in multiple group texts with Paul, and that fucking live got shared across multiple. He sent it to me personally, and then 2 other fucking group texts. And honestly, I got myself another cup of bourbon, and I sat down for an hour, and it was.
I'm a group text menace.
Yes, you are.
But it's wonderful. I've got a buddy I share all of the cat videos with.
Yeah. Do you know what I miss?
Cat videos.
So in Instagram, right? So Instagram handles chat way better than TikTok. Instagram chat far superior than TikTok chat.
But they both suck. Instagram chat's a piece of shit too.
I mean, it is, but it's better than TikTok. It is. But remember that one guy that we had on the Bass and Brews one? And I want to check in with him. I don't know if he even listens to the show, but it was the guy that I don't know, he's super trolling us, but then he started talking about how his wife was cheating on him. And
that was the one night that he sent that stuff out. And then I might have partake of some alcoholic beverages and was texting back because I thought he was I thought he was fucking around. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, there's no way there's a stranger sharing this shit with us. And then I wake up the next morning to Alex sending me like 4 screenshots of being
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, like I don't know if that guy was real or not. Hey buddy, if you're out there, where's the phone number? Give us a voicemail or something.
Oh,
Here.
speaking of that, did you check to see if we got any new reviews?
Oh, that's a good call.
Check and see if we got new reviews, because we got a shout out. We got to shout out them people.
I will say I think we're still gonna. So anytime we say, from now on, anytime we say we're gonna shout out somebody, that's got to be the sound.
Well, these assholes got to start sending us shit to shout out.
Well, when we put out episodes like this,
I can't believe that you still don't know the phone number, though. There's probably 18 messages on it. You don't check it.
No, I do. I have an app. Oh, shit. Let me pull up the app real quick. Hold on. Let's do that first. Hey, guy who is going through it. Oh, no. It just shows me the voicemails. It doesn't. Who did we get a call from? Well, we got a call.
See?
That day.
This is why Alex needs a new co-host, because I literally do nothing but fuck up the Bass and Brews TikTok page and show up for the podcast.
I mean, that's true. It's a one-man show when it comes to everything else. It's
I have still run this show more by myself than you have.
all right. So what's funny is the phone number that we have, the phone number that we have for the Bass and Brews voicemail. I still don't know what it is. I have it written down somewhere. It's hold on. I got empty beer cans over here. 609 837 9394.
609-837-9394.
Yeah. So what's funny is a total side story here. When Google Voice first came out in 2009, I signed up for it. And my best friend, Rob, I decided he was going to be... Nope. Rob French. I decided he was going to be the first victim. He was not.
Did he speak French?
I think a little bit. I decided he was going to be the first victim of me having this anonymous phone number. And I texted him through the phone number, hey, what are you doing? And he just responded back as nothing. Who is this? And I said, this is just the guy using a telescope to look through your window as you jerk off to Harry Potter fan fiction. And he got so freaked out because that's what he was doing.
See, that's very specific, Alex. So it
I
sounds
know him
like
very
you're projecting.
Well.
It sounds like you're projecting yourself onto him.
No. It means I know Rob really well because it got to the point he put, way to creep us out. The worst part is that's what I was doing. We called the cops. They came. I didn't want to get you in trouble, so I told them it was Danny. He called NYPD because he thought somebody was creeping into his windows watching him jerk off to Harry Potter. I love that those are the voicemails, some of the voicemails we have on this account somehow.
That's wonderful. No new voicemails this go round, eh?
No, we don't. I still have shrimp guy. I see you. I'm waiting for the right moment to put it in. It might be the end of the year kegger because it's a long intro. But I got you, bud. Don't worry. I see you. I'm trying to pull up. We don't have any new. Oh, November 8th. Nope, we saw that.
Nope,
one.
we read that one. Did you check both accounts since we got like 18 on?
So weird. Go ahead, keep talking there, star of the show.
I was going to say our fans have let us down with the podcast on us fixing all the episodes on Apple Podcast. I figured we'd have somebody that knew what the hell was going on.
Well,
it's funny how we've been doing this podcast coming up on like 3 years, 2.5 years, and we don't know how to run none of this shit. We're still fumbling around like it's the first month.
You know,
if you ask me, if you were like, hey, man, I'm going to be out of town next 2 weeks, I can't put the podcast out, I wouldn't know how to do it. You'd have to give me really specific directions.
I did that before. Well, it's a little more complicated
It's changed.
Yeah.
It's changed. We
All right,
changed
so-
platforms.
So we
There's
do
no
have
way
one.
I could do it.
We do have one from October 30th. It says, I've been listening for a while, and I must say, this is without a doubt.
Who is it?
It's, I'll get to it. Can I finish?
You've already read this one.
Can I finish? Have I?
Yeah, we've done this one. We did this one like a month ago.
It has to deal with Santa.
Yeah. But read it
Okay.
again for shits and giggles.
I've been listening for a while, and I must say this without a doubt, the least informative fishing podcast there is. Of course, I'm all for it. I run a route during the week, and you guys make the days fly by. Thanks for the entertainment. My only disappointment is not enough shows in a week. Alex, I told Santa you wanted a growth spurt this year. Hopefully you get it. Unfortunately, while I was telling Santa, Jabberhammer cut me off, so I'm not sure if he heard. So best of luck being half the man you could have been. We have not fucking read that one before. Thank you very much.
Don't take my word for it. I'm just out here mumbling, talking shit,
That's on
being
the
not as
third
funny as I
Bass and
think I
Brews
am.
account. Yeah, that's, oh man, that was, I hope. So again, I hope people show out for the live end of the year kegger. If you can't, you'll be able to listen to it as normal or watch it on YouTube.
It is going to
I
be
hope-
live on YouTube and Facebook too.
Yep. And that's December 28th at 7:45 Eastern time, as always. Well, not as always. That's when we normally record. But it's going to be, we got some really good questions.
We got
We
like
should
10
have-
people are going to be on the show. It's going to be a
Yes.
full house.
Yes, and the 10 people are, fan
Nope.
favorites.
Yep. Don't name
I'm
them
not-
yet.
I'm
It's
not
all going to be a
mentioning-
surprise.
No, they're fan favorites from the year of 2023. I will say we are going to have the historian. That's Tori's coming back as her role as the Bass and Brews historian, so that should be great. I can announce Mandy is going to make a fucking ridiculous appearance. She's going to come in, say we're all fucking nerds, and then bounce out and watch murder mysteries, drinking
Wolf
White
of
Claw.
Walmart is going to be making real-time memes.
I don't
gonna
know
be
how we're going to figure
glorious.
that out yet. Yeah,
Well,
we
it's
talked
easy.
about
He's
that,
just going to have to watch. He's going to have to watch
Yeah.
the live and do
Yeah.
screenshots and work his
Send
magic.
us- yeah.
Put him out there, tag us, and then, if we're not too stupid drunk, then we'll reshare them.
So this is the part that scares me about the show, right? Is that we've got a lot of moving parts, and we saw how much of a shit show it was last year, which was amazing. We want to add a little more structure so everybody kind of gets a chance. This panel that we're bringing on. So I think I'm not going to drink during it at all.
Well, whatever plans you have for that podcast, I'm going to fucking ruin them.
I can't wait that Wolf is going to be cranking out these memes. I'm going to be so hammered. I'm just going to be like, yeah, just look at TikTok next week. They'll all be there.
Yeah, don't make too good of a plan, Alex, because I'm going to ruin it.
That's your main job, right? That's I think every so it's funny behind the scenes, like every kind of conversation me and Paul have had.
Paul and
I will come out with an idea, and a lot of times Paul will agree with it, but then he waits till we're on air to just fuck it all up. And then also Paul will sometimes come up with his own idea, but it has to deal with me, and then I say the idea, and then he goes out and fucks it all up. Like he's just the full-on embodiment of an agent of chaos at this point.
I have a lot of great ideas, but I do not want to put them out in practice. I just want you to do it, and if I change my mind halfway through, I'm gonna whatever idea
I'm saying.
pops up, that's what I'm rolling with.
Full fucking agent of chaos. I love that. I have a lot of really good ideas, but I'm not gonna say them. I'm just gonna have you
Just
do them
gonna
so I
do
can
'em.
fuck them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
that's great.
best ideas come to me at the spur of the moment, especially after I take way too much GABA and drink way too much White Claw Surge.
Gotcha. All right. Here's an idea that was floated, right? And I don't know if I should talk about it, but we're going to, right? So somebody brought up
Hey,
that
time out, for real.
yeah.
Quit saying fucking right after
I know. I'm
every
trying.
word.
I'm trying.
You're not
to.
trying. You're doing terrible.
All right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, they came
Every
up
time
with
you
the
say right, I'm gonna say
idea. You got to get a buzzer.
No, I don't have to. My mouth is by the microphone. I can say
So-
I can say quicker than I can press that stupid button.
All right, so April Fools, right? This is me and Ramon Outdoors talking. We get
Ramon and
on
I.
the show. We get somebody on the show for April Fools, right? And because we're Bass and Brews, there was one time that somebody referenced our show as Bass and Brews, and they thought it was bass guitars. So what we do for an April...
But that still doesn't make sense.
Hold on. It doesn't. But for an April Fool's joke, we have a bass player on, and all we do is ask him bass fishing questions, but we don't fucking let the guy in, or we don't let the person in on that we're just kind of trolling him.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work because I don't know anything about music. Actually, here's a funny story. I played the saxophone. I played the saxophone, the alto sax, for like 5 or 6 years. And I was a decent saxophone player. I could look at a sheet of music and learn it real quick and play it. I had my saxophone. I just got it from my mama's house during Thanksgiving. I had my saxophone up in the attic. I ought to bring that on here for sound effects on the podcast moving forward.
I've known Paul for coming on 3 years now, right? And within the last 2 months, there's been some earth-shattering revelations about Paul.
I could be the Bill Clinton of podcasts in the fishing realm with my saxophone.
You playing the saxophone, added on to that you took an acting course in college, is fucking mind-blowing. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, okay, I'm not pretty sure because I've seen the video, but you know that scene in Lost Boys in the very beginning of the movie where the dude has the metal chain around his neck and he's playing the saxophone and it's a really, like, rockin' song at the beach? Like, I think we need to recreate that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I can't. I've seen that movie, obviously, but I can't remember that shit. I will share a story from college about a class too that I took with Sarah. We took a leisure, something in leisure. Anyway, it was an outdoors course.
Okay.
And we had a real granola teacher. Mm-hmm. And we went to this ropes course one day, and there's 2 stories into this one story. All right, I'm super excited for this class. We go to this rope class for the class, and part of it was going out and like, oh, damn it, I said like, the teacher, the professor's asking us, what are the 2 things we would take out in the woods? And I said, matches, or some way to start a fire. I can't remember exactly, but it was something to start a fire with, and a hatchet. And she looks at me and is like, and I'm saying this because this is how she was. She goes, oh, so you're one of those people who's just going to go out there and just start chopping all the wood up. You said survival, bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, and we got in a little argument, but the funniest part was we did the ropes course. Sarah and I were partners, and she was, at that point in time, I was playing football. I was very fit. She's a gymnast. She's super fit, but you have to work together.
Yeah.
And we get like 5 feet off the ground, and we're arguing. We're dating at the time. We're arguing in the ropes class.
Ask that. Yeah.
In front of everybody, because everybody's watching you try to get up, and I just leave her. And the teacher's like, you gotta get your partner. I was like, no, she climbed that fucking rope herself.
No, fuck that.
She's
Survival?
a gymnast. She can get up there.
Yeah, back handspring back, babe. You'll be all right. That's what kind of fucking school did you go to that they had a ropes course? Fucking Carolina, stepping it up. It's leisure something. I can't remember the damn name of it. Anyway, it was one of those leisure classes. Your college career is still mind-boggling on that. There's a leisure course. You were on the football team, but you're the 3rd string punter. You took an acting class.
I hated school. I would go to a class. I would sign up for as many hours as you could, and I go to all the classes because you could drop them in the first 2 weeks or something, somewhere in that range.
You just try a shit ton of them.
So I would go to a bunch
of
classes.
Your ADD brain, you're trying to figure out which one's going to stick.
I wouldn't buy any books for like the first month. And I would go to all the classes, and the ones that I really, really hated, I would drop. And then the ones I liked, I would buy the books for and do okay in. And the ones that I had to keep, because you had to have a minimum number of hours to remain eligible during that semester, the ones that I still hated, but I had to remain enrolled in, I wouldn't buy the books. I would just go take the test and do my best.
Did you graduate?
Oh, yeah. I sure enough did.
What'd you get a degree in? Again, 3 years.
We've talked about this numerous times. This
no, we
peace,
haven't.
war, and defense. Yes, we have. We have talked about this.
I have never fucking heard.
I have a
What?
BA. I have a BA in peace, war, and defense.
What the fuck does that mean?
It's pretty much a history degree, except it focuses around
Peace, war, and defense.
It was history. It was history and political science kind of combined into this very unique major. And the only place you could get this major is the University of North Carolina. Matter of fact, it was the smallest major, I think it still is, at UNC. But what was cool about it is we had some really, really good political science majors, professors, and they had all these connections in with like the NSA and the CIA and the FBI and stuff like that. And they used to take a group every year up to Washington, and they would go.
Not you.
Well, I couldn't go because of football, but they recruited a lot of people from there. It was pretty interesting, man. But my focus was in the colonial time period.
I love that's a bullshit degree. You basically got a degree in dudes watching the History Channel in the early to mid 2000s.
I watched a lot of History Channel, the Band of Brothers. I had a class where we probably spent 3 weeks on the Band of Brothers, the book, going through all of that. Is oh man, it was so wonderful.
We were just
awesome.
watching that before recording tonight. Amanda just started it up because D-Day was 2 days ago as of this recording. And Pearl Harbor was today, as of this recording. So she just restarted it. Amanda has a history degree.
They have another. So they got the Band of Brothers, the Pacific, and then they're coming out with another one with the Air Force.
The what?
Pacific.
What's the Pacific? Not the specific. The Pacific.
I didn't say an S in front of it the first time.
You
did
just with your accent.
Look. No. Bitch, you're the only one on this podcast with a lisp.
I do.
You put an S before everything. I bet when I come over to your house, I bet your microphone is probably so crusty it's not even like foam anymore. It's probably like sandpaper because your little lisp you spit every time you talk. You're the Mike Tyson of podcasting. Bass and Booth.
Shit, I might be. Oh my god, that one got me.
You just need to start raising some pigeons now and have your little pigeon farm up on the roof of your house.
Clapping pigeons. I'd do it.
Clapping cheeks.
Yeah.
Don't shit on me having a college degree either when you barely passed the GED.
Oh no! I passed the GED with flying colors. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you probably had your girlfriend take it for you.
No. It was so what's funny is I joined the military without a GED because this is 2003 where times were tough for military recruiting. And I was able to get in, pass boot camp, do all of that. And then when I got to the boat, they're like, hey, when you get a chance, you've got 6 months to do this, and then you don't have a job. And I was like, well, fuck.
This guy does not have a high school education. At least make sure he can do minimal math.
No. I mean, I had to do
Mr. Castanuega. What is 1 + 1?
No.
2. You're in.
You
just got to get your GED in 6 months. Good luck.
No. So there was like a waiver you could get depending on your ASVAB score, right? So the ASVAB is the test you got to take before you join the military. It'll dictate what rates you can do, this and that. So I took that test, and I did well enough to where they were like, we'll take you even without.
You did well enough that said you're in, but you're going to be Captain tying knots.
Well, yeah. So the funny thing is I took the ASVAB with the Air Force, right? And not to flex, but like I got an 89 out of 100 on the ASVAB. That's a pretty fucking decent score. And I wanted to be an air traffic controller in the Air Force. And the Air Force said, cool, you don't have a high school diploma, so we're going to cut that in half, and you can join and basically, like, mop floors and shit. And I was like, fuck that. And I went outside to go have a smoke.
Hold on a sec. I got I'm going off into left field when you're done.
Yep.
No living being.
Can you hear that? I got the volume all the way down.
Nope.
Shh,
It's
hold on,
'cause your
hold on,
Bluetooth is. Don't shush.
Hold on. All right. Oh, nope. This is the wrong one.
Dickhead.
Nobody asked you. All right. I'm going to go this. This isn't the full thing. I
Go
can't
ahead.
find the full thing anymore. But back in the day, this is 13, 14 years old. This is early on in the YouTube realm. There was this guy that was tripping on, the story goes, the guy was tripping on acid, and his friends recorded it. And then they overlaid him talking on acid to a lizard.
Yes.
And
I
I'm going to
remember that.
play this. I'm going to play this. And we're going to listen
Only
to some
like
of it.
15 seconds
because
of it.
This is probably some of the funniest shit that has ever been on YouTube. This was out before Leroy Jenkins.
Hey.
There you go. All right, it's about to start.
What does this guy think he's an Indian? What is he, a goddamn asshole? What the fuck is he doing? Not ever. No way.
All right.
Now he's Johnny Hammersticks. Hammering away like he's balloons.
Mr. Balloon
Mr.
Hands.
Balloon hands. No way. No way. Get
Y'all just go to YouTube and search lizard on acid and watch that video. Some of the most amazing shit out there.
Paul.
Say my name.
We're going to have an issue with that. You know that, right?
We're just gonna have to edit out that one minute.
Are you going to edit that out?
I don't know how anymore because you switched all of our stuff over.
Are you going to go in it? I'm fucking so pissed right now, actually.
It's just
Our guest is coming
2
on
seconds.
shortly. No, fuck off, Paul. Like, that was...
I did not. I tried to fast forward it to the middle. I
damn
didn't
it.
choose that on purpose. All you gotta do is like just cut it and splice it.
Are you going to cut it and splice it?
I can if you send me directions. If you show me how to do it, I'll do it next time. Don't be mad at me.
We got no guest tonight, which is fine.
Uh-oh.
Because Paul just ruined the show. I'm fucking pissed. I cannot fucking believe that, Paul.
I did not do that on purpose. Shit happens when you're trying to bring in some excitement. Sometimes shit
my
happens.
God.
Hey,
Listen,
it's okay. I marked it down.
Here's
No,
how
but
it
see,
works, folks.
if we keep
hold
talking
on,
about it,
hold
they're gonna
on,
be like,
hold
what
on.
happened? But nobody's ever gonna know because the
They're not
audio
gonna
is gonna
know.
be.
But they're not
Beep,
going to
beep,
know
beep, beep, beep.
because Alex has to go in. He's got a full-time job, just like Paul does.
No. I got a full-time
family.
business. Man, it'll take you 5 minutes to go in and
No,
just
it takes way
cut.
more than that. That says
How?
the guy who's never edited any of it.
Excuse
But
me,
anyway.
I have edited numerous of these.
You've never edited one of these. You've uploaded
Nope,
them.
that's a lie.
You've never edited
That's
one.
a lie. You don't.
Which
know,
one did you
You
edit?
weren't here. You weren't here. You don't know what I did for those 9
What
months. You weren't
software
present.
did you use to edit?
I've got 3 or 4. I don't know. I can't even remember. It's been so long, but I got them all on my all on my computer. They're over here
No.
somewhere.
No. God damn it, Paul.
See, if you would have told me not to play it, this never would have happened. This is your fault. You're supposed to be running this show, letting me run around here all willy-nilly. This is your fault, not mine. You should have known better.
I should have known. No, you should have known. Fuck you. You should have known better.
I didn't. I couldn't remember that was in there.
Anyways.
You said you heard it. You should have known. I'm not taking blame for this. Look,
there's going to be
if you look
folks-
at me like that
there's gonna be
again,
folks-
if you
I gave you the fucking look. Like
if you
there's
look
gonna
at
be
me
folks
like
that
that
know the
again, if you look
What?
at me like
What are
that
you gonna do?
again, I'm gonna start telling you acting like my wife's mama.
Yeah. Well, you're honestly, Paul. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
No, you were very mad. You leaned back in your chair and were rubbing your eyes, and I could tell there was madness. There was madness in your face.
I gotta go pee. Carry
Good luck.
the show, Paul.
I'm gonna play the rest of this video.
You son of a bitch! Don't you dare!
While Alex goes and tinkles, I'm gonna let y'all know a little secret. All right. While he's probably tinkling his sump pump. But here, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of secret. Have you ever been to a farm, one of those petting farms, where they got the goats and the chickens and the cows and all the, you walk around all into dookie and stuff out there, and you get to pet all the animals. You have to pay money to go pet farm animals. Next time you go, pick out the sweetest, the most friendly goat that's out there, and just pick it up and start carrying it around. It'll be one of the most exhilarating times of your entire life, being able to carry that goat around on the petting farm. It's wonderful. And you know what? If you get lucky, goat's good eating. Sure enough. I just saw something the other day where they said the majority of your lamb that you eat is potentially goat, especially like gyro meat, stuff where it's ground up and put together. A majority of that meat has goat in it. And I'm okay with it because, to me, goat is way more better than lamb anyway.
What did I miss?
I can't start over. It was
That's
too
all right.
much
Don't start
information.
over. That's all right. Okay.
It was too much information. You'll just have to go back and listen to it.
I will never. All right. So anybody who
You already got to go back and listen to it because you fucked up and let me play that video clip.
I do have to go back and do that, but Paul always goes like, go back and listen to this episode. One, if I'm on the episode, I'm never gonna fucking listen to it.
No, that's all right. Hold on. I said,
Excuse me.
If we miss an episode,
Yeah.
if one of us are not on there, we should go back and listen to it. And
Do you listen to them?
I had to guilt trip you to go listen to the one with the TikTokers took over.
Yeah. Do you listen?
And then
to
you started live texting
I
that
did.
whole episode because
That
it
was
was
insane.
you loved it.
I did not. Well, I love Tiny. Tiny's great. He's a very original artist on TikTok. He's fantastic. Paige is amazing. She's part of our R&D when it comes to the Bass and Brews podcast. Matty Ice is still suspect. I mean, he's not suspect. He's pretty much. I mean, just to make it completely clear, Brock Tominus wants him out of fish talk, and I agree. Like, Matty Ice is probably the scourge of fish talk and of all fishing content creation. So, I mean, we could do without him, but Paul was very adamant that I had to listen to that, right? But I've done some episodes without Paul, and Paul has never listened to those episodes. And it's a weird thing because once you put something out, you don't want to go like back to it. You know what I mean? Like it's like we kind of talk about it when people reference stuff from the show, we make a joke about it. Like, oh, we don't remember that. And some of that's because we don't. But it's, we get it. It's fresh for the listeners, but not for us. But then also, like, again, we don't go back to it. I can't even get Paul to listen to an episode that he wasn't on either. So it's...
I've been on all the episodes, but like 2.
And you haven't listened to those 2?
That wasn't a rule back then. We just made that rule.
It's not a
when
rule
you got
now.
back.
It's not a fucking rule now.
Oh, bullshit. I'll go back to the text
bullshit.
messages.
Bullshit.
Hey, have you ever held a baby
Yes.
woodpecker?
No. I've held a pecker, but not a baby woodpecker.
Well, you've held a baby pecker too, because every day you go
that's
tinkle,
now
it's all yours.
I'm gonna have to edit this fucking part out too. You fucking weirdo.
It's your pecker.
I'm still so mad at you that I have to edit this fucking video.
I can keep going. You're the one that took.
No.
See, again, this is not my fault. You're the one that took it from woodpecker to pecker.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Said,
I asked you if you'd held a baby woodpecker.
Paul,
and then
have
you say,
you
"Oh,
ever-
I ain't heard that baby woodpecker, but I hear a woodpecker."
Paul, have you ever held a baby woodpecker?
Yes, I have. Red cockaded woodpecker, endangered
what?
species.
Okay. How did that happen?
Red
How much did
red
you have to pay?
cockaded woodpecker. It's a southeastern woodpecker.
Mm-hmm.
Predominantly lives in the longleaf pine ecosystem, which is the southeast, which is North Carolina, little parts of Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Florida. And it's a red cockaded woodpecker. It's a nice little woodpecker. It's beautiful. It's the only woodpecker that nests in live trees, and they make their home in either short leaf, but mostly long leaf pines. And the pine has to have a heart disease because the heart of a pine tree is very, very hard. So they only make their nest in live long leaf pines that have a heart disease that makes the heart soft enough for them to peck out their little hole to live in.
This is, more unnecessary facts with Jabberhammer. He's great at these.
What's most interesting about it, what's cool as hell, is you can tell it's a red cockaded woodpecker because they go peck little pitch holes all around that tree to make the sap ooze out of that tree.
Yeah,
and it
we've
helps
all
keep
been there.
predators.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
It helps keep predators from going up in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's
No,
super
we've all
interesting
been there.
little bird.
Yeah. You poke around till it gets wet and nobody else is going to get in there. I get it.
Yep. Once that big piece of wood is yours, it's yours forever. Every now and again, they do alternate trees, nesting trees, because they'll have a colony. They'll have a colony of like 4 or 5 trees, all in a little area. They're really cool, neat little bird.
I think that's a fun
I worked
fact.
on the wildlife refuge for 3 years as a what they call a YCC, Youth Conservation Corps.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact, my senior year of high school, I was the Carolina Sandhills National Wildlife Refuge Volunteer of the Year.
Man, you've fallen greatly since then.
I don't know. I should be Volunteer of the Year for this podcast for the last 3 years. But do you think I've gotten one single fucking award for being on this show? Not one.
You're right. We're working at nonprofit. Hey, do you share these fun facts with your kids?
No, they don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit. So I I got on a weird spiral last week. Well, beginning of this week, right? On I mean, we mentioned it on the show, right? But right now I'm kind of super obsessed with cryptids. I was about ready to say it too.
Yeah,
I just got it out, right?
Yeah, we know
So,
because ever since the Rudd episode on cryptids, you have
Super into
bombarded the podcast.
Super into it.
Should be Sasquatch and Wood, Sasquatch and Friends podcast at this point.
Yeah, no shit, right? But so my kids, I was watching some TikToks about the Wendigo, right? And they were like, "What's that?"
Is that the mobile home? Is that the
No.
camper on wheels?
It's not. And I described it in detail. And
The Wendigo
Amanda-
is the camper. Is like the quintessential 80s, 90s camper.
Is that what it
The
was called?
Wendigo?
Okay. I don't know.
Dumbass. It's the Winnebago. You didn't even get the joke, and I had to.
I didn't get the joke because it's bad. But anyways, as I explained in detail, Amanda went, "Hey, maybe want to use a filter? Like, that's probably not fucking appropriate for a 10 and an 8-year-old.
Hey, speaking of inappropriate shit that your kids say in school, Can't Look Carter's the class clown. He's the jokester. They were reading Charlotte's Web
Okay.
last week.
Okay.
And they, there's part of Charlotte's Web where they're going to eat the pig.
Yep.
Wilbur.
Yep.
And Carter's starts blurting out, "Oh, I'm going to get me some bacon. I'm going to eat me some pig. I want to eat Wilbur." And he got in trouble.
Why?
Yeah. And so I had to tell him, I said, "Look, man, I think that's funny. It's awesome. It's great. But there's probably kids in your class that have no idea where their meat comes from." And look, Charlotte's Web is a sad story with a great ending. The only thing that dies in that book when it ends is a spider. And we all know that every one of those fucking farm animals got ate at some point after that book
No,
ended.
they didn't. No, they actually, lived a long, healthy life. And then
Hey, you know what we should do? We should have a segment where I pick out a children's book for you to read.
Yeah.
For you to read like 5 pages out of every episode.
That sounds boring.
Well, I want to see if you can enunciate the words.
I 100% can. I'm a professional writer, technically.
Oh, but what about in reality?
Well, I mean, technically.
I should go get the Berenstein Bears books and read them like I read them to my kids, because I made up my own stories in the Berenstein Bears because their 100%. Stories are really terrible.
They're awful. So what?
Papa Bear had a problem with he needed anger management. Yeah, and he was also one of the kids. He pretty much everything bad that happened in there, Papa Bear had something to do with. So he was being just as bad as the little shithead kids.
So my oldest is trying out for drama. She's 10 years old.
Oh, if she needs any tips, tell her to holler at me.
Shit. Yeah, that would make a great video series.
Hey, I will get her set up when she tries out. If she makes the team, I will get her so far ahead of everybody else there. I'll teach her them eggs. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
But they're doing something called bedtime stories, and they're basically like normal bedtime stories, like whatever, fairy tales, but kind of reworked, right? And she signed up for this without us knowing. And I was like, yeah, why'd you sign up for this? Like, normally this isn't her thing. And she goes, I think I'd be good at it. And I goes, okay, that's great. And she goes, yeah, because I remember as a kid, you would read stories, and then you would kind of read some of it and then just make up your own story after that. Because that was my game. Because most kids' stories, when you read them a book, like to put them to bed, right, they're boring. They're not good. So I would just fabricate the rest of it. And now she's taking this into where she's going to be in drama and do this. It's very interesting. We'll see if she gets the part. If not, we'll never talk about it again.
You, your daughter, and myself are going to start hopping on weekly calls, and I'm going to teach her drama so she can get a step ahead.
Listen,
and what's funny is she's going to start sounding. She's going to go to school and start sounding like me.
I was about to say, yes, but we should record that, and I'm gonna tell her, like, hey, I found somebody who's done acting in college. I'm going to put you on a Zoom call to coach you on this one to prep your monologue for your audition. She hasn't done the audition yet. So we might have to find some time this week, Paul.
Well, I'll tell you,
fucking funny.
The first thing we're going to learn is how to sit and stand up out of a chair, how to sit in a chair and how to stand up out of a chair. We're going to teach her the warm-up. Yeah. There's a warm-up that we have to do. And then the first lessons.
Hold on. What's the warm up?
I have to show you, and I don't have enough room in here.
Oh, we broke down.
The first true lesson that we're going to do is she's going to have to say, she's going to have to learn how to pronounce words with like Y-A-L and O-I. So it's oil and roll. No. She's going to have to learn how to pronounce those words correctly.
Dude,
those are one syllable. Crown Royal.
Yeah. My kid's not going to be. Crown Royal's not going to be in the play. But we might be in South Jersey, but we're not that south. But I want to go back to this.
Does she get to make her own playwright? Because I'm going to help her write her own playwright.
No, she actually has this is the most offbeat episode I think we ever had. She has an awesome teacher who's doing all this. Props to this lady.
You. I appreciate that.
Props to this lady because, again, they're doing these like wild stories. So it's like instead of the boy that cried wolf, it's the boy that cried dinosaur. And I already read a portion of it, and it's like this kid cried wolf. But it was actually a raptor the whole time.
Oh, what was his rap name?
No. Yeah, you're funny. That's dumb.
Hello.
This teacher's awesome though. She does like Harry Potter in the classroom, and Laura loves that. My oldest, and they do sorting hats, and they it's
I
fucking
can't wait
cool.
to teach your daughter how to talk country.
We're gonna have to figure this out and record it because I'm gonna
have to write a lesson plan now. Damn.
Yeah. Write a lesson plan because I'm gonna be
I might
like,
have
hey,
I'm gonna have one of my drama books too.
it's gonna be like, hey, sweetheart, and I'm gonna be deadpan, like, hey, Dad knows a lot of people, and he's able to find out somebody who took drama during college. He's basically a thespian, he wants to teach you how to do this.
We're gonna make this happen, and I'm gonna resurrect my drama career.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? She might be on Broadway, playing all the hillbilly parts,
all the southern parts.
Yep.
The little girl from South Jersey playing all the southern parts.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
they're gonna do something with Appalachia, and they're like, "Hey, girl, you the Appalachia? She's like, all right, that's good. Let's go down here. We gotta get some oil, fry them fish up, and don't forget." We got to get some crown roll to sip on while we doing it. And, hey, you got them eggs? We got to get them eggs. How you like your eggs, girl? Fried or fertilized? She's probably going to get kicked out of that class, but she's going to be the best actor.
100%, because they're like, hey, you're supposed to do, like, I don't know, not that. You're supposed to do Willy Wonka. And you're talking about fertilizing eggs.
Well, I mean, the chicken can't make more chickens unless them eggs fertilized. You ever seen a chicken lay an egg?
What? I have, yes. Yes.
Pretty awesome.
Have you ever seen a chicken not lay an egg, but the egg's there?
That's not how it works, buddy.
No. I mean, it's I don't think it's prolapse. I don't think that's the right term. But you know what I'm talking about?
Have you ever seen a chicken get snatched up by a hawk?
I have. I want to go back to the other one. So we had a neighbor, and he was like, "You want chickens, right?" I'm like, "I do." And he's like, "Sweet, come over. I'll show you. It's real easy." And I came over, and he had two hens who the egg didn't come out, right? So I had to watch them, like, go in and break this egg in this chicken's body, like pull it out, all this other weird shit. And I was like, yeah, I don't want chickens anymore.
You ever ate a rooster?
Probably. Yeah, 100%. Yes. 100%
Look,
yes.
if you've eaten a rooster, you know them because it don't taste nothing like a damn chicken. I tell you, a damn squirrel tastes closer. A squirrel tastes closer to chicken than a rooster does.
Yeah. Very stringy and gamey. And how I had it was very spicy because I had it in Mexico. It was wonderful. It was good. It was good as shit, actually.
I dated a girl in high school, and her grandma had it was free-range chickens, and there was tons of chickens everywhere. And when you start getting too many cocks, you got to go out there and kill them because they start fucking up the chickens and stuff, and they get them where they won't lay eggs, and they just chase them around, and they're mean, and you get the alpha cock
just
out
like
there.
Real life.
He's a bitch, he's an asshole. So anyway, her grandma, when it was time to thin out the roosters, her grandma would go out there and take the 22 out there and just start popping roosters. And then we come take them and clean them.
Yeah.
We take them and clean them, have roosters
They taste different. They taste different. I had them on a stick. They were good. That's all I can say.
That's the same place where we used to kill hogs, and we ate everything off the damn hog, from the tooter to the pooter.
Oh, that's a famous phrase.
Yes, it was. That's taking it back to the old school because I'm an old fool who's so cool. Whoop, there it is. Tag team back again. Check it, direct it. Why are you not joining in on this?
Because I'm not.
You can be mad at me, but you can't be mad at me on the podcast.
No,
you have to be mad at me after, and you have to be mad at me when you have to go edit all the shit. Even though I will stand on my ground. That is not my fault.
I will not edit it then. Do you want to stand on that?
Then I'll edit it.
Okay. You edit it then.
I will. and there's going to be a lot of editing. I'm going to have sound bites in there.
He's gonna put in.
I'm going to add some
rooster
stuff.
calls. Caw, caw.
Ooh, I should go get my goose call. Ooh, my owl call.
It's a good one.
Do you know that owls don't go, ooh?
Yep.
They don't sound like that. The closest thing
When-
that sounds to what a regular owl, what people think an owl sounds like, is a mourning dove. Because they go, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. But what? Did I
Go
what?
ahead.
Did I who? No, you
Did
go ahead.
you, as a kid, ever sift through owl shit?
Of course.
Well, they
course.
don't do that anymore.
Tasted it one time too. It's pretty furry.
Oh, that's no, you didn't do that. But
I ate a pig's eye. I sure enough put some owl poop in my mouth because somebody said you won't do it. And I was like, bitch, watch.
I was trying to explain to my kids when where I grew up in Washington, like we would go to like one of our school field trips. There's this place called North what was it called?
They let you go on a field trip?
Yeah, it was called Northwest Trek. That's what it was. And you would just go on this thing. It was like a zoo, right? But for nothing but Northwest animals. And you would take a tram and you'd see like rams and all this other stuff and moose and elk and all this stuff. And then you do the kind of, the exhibits where you'd see wolverines and badgers and bears. But then we got to the one point where it was like the best part as a kid is where you'd get to the owl exhibit and you'd get a big old piece of owl shit. And your job was to break it open and find all the bones in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Make a pile of bones and a pile of fur.
So it was a pile of bones. And I remember as a kid, they'd put you into two teams. And it's who could make a mouse the fastest. So you would try to take the bones out of the owl shit and try to make a fucking mouse skeleton. And I think it's awesome. And when I told my kids about it, they were like, that is gross. That is disgusting. Why would you do that?
But here's a fun fact about Dookie, and not necessarily Al Dookie, but Dookie in general. If you're out in the woods, a lot of people will look at a pile of shit out in the woods, and they'll say, "Oh man, this is wet. This is fresh. This is fresh poop because it's wet." Funny story is poop dries from the inside out, so the outside will look wet a lot longer than what's actually on the inside.
Okay.
So to understand how fresh the poop is, if it's not steamy, obviously that's super fresh. But to get a good idea on actually how old that poop is, you really need to take a stick or your finger and poke and prod and mix it around to see how dry the inside is.
Can't
Poop
look
dries
harder.
from the inside out.
Can't look, Carter. I'm sorry, man.
Look
He's
it up.
taking you camping, and you're just plugging your fingers into fucking shit at campsites.
Hey, well, it's good to know, is this bear been here recently? We need to keep an eye out. Or was this bear here 5 days ago?
That's true, I guess. That's weird.
It's not, I guess it is true. 100%. Look it up. Poop dries from the inside
I'm
out.
with you.
Mm-hmm. You should be. I'm learning you something. I'm teaching you some survival skills. I mean, poop is a good indicator of how much danger you might be in if there are predators around by examining the dookie.
Okay.
It's very interesting. If there's
Still
blood in
mad
the
at you.
poop, if there's blood in the
Yes.
poop, you might need to
Okay.
be careful because that animal might have an issue that they're sick, and a sick animal is a dangerous animal.
Just so you guys know, this is the new content he's bringing to the show. Instead of kayak fishing, he's bringing poop content.
Speaking of fishing, I've said on this podcast a couple times when we've talked about walleye with some of our northern guests, and I
Okay.
said, ain't gonna catch no walleye no down here. Ain't got no walleye in the Carolinas.
They're there.
I'm a liar. They stock 3 or 4 lakes in western North Carolina and then Lake Gaston here in the Carolinas. Be damned, they got walleye in them. Ain't that some shit? They don't live long, but they here.
Well, they're there for like a season. That's a
Yeah,
weird
they don't make it
stocking,
through the summer.
Yeah, that's New Jersey does. I know we talked last episode about it, but New Jersey does like this trout stock, and it becomes like combat fishing. Bunch of old dudes chucking power bait at fucking trout. It's insane.
Do you know my freshman year of college, I wanted to be a geologist?
You say that again?
My freshman year, I wanted to be a geologist. I took a geology class and fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I would get drunk my freshman year, and I would just start talking about rocks to people. And I educated so many people
What
in
are you, that guy
Airinghouse
from
dorm.
Kill Tony?
I educated so many people in the Airinghouse dorm at UNC our freshman year of rocks. I mean, it's they didn't want to listen, but they had nowhere to go. So I just talked about rocks, and I had a couple people go take that geology class, and they did good on it because of my drunk teachings about geology. But then they said you got to take chemistry, 2 levels of chemistry, and I was like, yeah. I'm out. I'm out.
Did you live in the dorm?
For 2.5 years. I was in Airinghouse my freshman year. I was in Connor my second year.
Yeah.
My third year, for pretty much 2/3 of it, I was in Carmichael, and then I went to an apartment.
Was that a mutual thing, or were you forced out of the dorm?
Oh, no, I wasn't forced out. I was a good dorm mate. People loved me. I got drunk and talked about rocks and fucking killing pigs and hunting. I mean, I people were enamored by me. We had folks down there that never been on dirt road before.
I can't imagine going to a school of higher learning and then getting saddled up with you as a roommate.
There were a lot of people that really were confused in how I was there.
No, I'm still confused. I don't think
they would pick on my accent. They would be from North Carolina, pick on my fucking accent. I'm like, bitch, I'm 2 hours away from you. I don't think I did not know I sounded weird until I got to college. Sure enough. Matter of fact, I was there were a couple times I was hunting squirrels our freshman year out around the dorm. Sure enough.
What?
I got one. I cleaned it, but then we
with?
didn't have anything to cook it with, so I
What
went
were
and
you
stuck it in my
hunting them
grandma's
with?
freezer. And then, like 5 years later, she was doing something, and there was a freezer. There's a clean squirrel in the freezer.
She's like, "Oh my God, Paul got me this squirrel."
No, my grandma's from Wisconsin now. She ain't do no country shit.
Hold on. What did you kill the squirrel with?
A rock.
Okay.
Look. You know how squirrels play the game on a tree?
I fucking hate you.
All right. Well, I was out there trying to get a couple because people were curious about it. So we're gonna get one and cook it, but fucking we were all stupid. Where are we gonna cook it in the door? We had no stove. Somebody did have a one of the old toaster ovens. I was like, I can probably make that work. Anyway, it didn't work out. But I was out there hunting a squirrel, and we played the game around the tree. And then finally, I just left it alone, and it snuck around. It went out on a little branch, probably, I don't know, 10 foot up. You know how they'll get off the where a branch comes out of the main part of the tree? That little crack right there. And you know how they sit on their hind legs, and they got the tail bent over, and they're eating their little nuts. They're eating their little nuts and shit.
I'm sorry.
So I picked up a rock.
Hold on. The mic didn't pick it up. Say it again. How did they eat it?
So I picked up the rock and I aimed at it. I made my little circle with my left hand because I throw right-handed. And boom, I threw it, knocked that bitch out the tree. Dead as a doorknob.
All right. Well,
It's wonderful. Have you ever killed a squirrel?
yes. BB
Did you
gun.
eat it?
With the first squirrel I killed, we did not eat. No, we left it there.
Why would you kill an animal and not eat it?
Correct. The second, fourth, fifth, actually, it was a lot. So we used to take the nuts from the belly and make pie out of them.
Boy, you got to kill a lot of squirrel to get nuts enough to make a pie.
Correct. Yeah.
Have you ever had any kind of acorn? Do you know how to process acorns to make them edible?
When they're from squirrel gut, yes.
No, not from the squirrel gut. That's
No.
nasty.
No, because they already like rip off a lot of the hardness, so you can make like a sweet squirrel nut jelly. That's what I grew up eating. But yes, no.
You ever had souse meat?
Souse? No, I don't know what souse is.
Look it up real quick.
No. You
Look
tell
it
me.
up.
You
all
tell
right.
me.
When I come up there, you come down here. We meet in the middle somewhere. Whenever it happens, I'm gonna cook country shit for you, and we're gonna sit down. We're gonna eat some country shit.
All right.
I want to bring some souse meat. If I can get hold of a hog head, we'll make some hog head cheese.
Oh, I've had that. I've had hog head cheese.
Okay. Well, then you'll love souse meat. You boil the feet and the heads, and then all the gelatinous material.
I've been up here, right? But I've like lived with people from all over the fucking place. So,
well, good. Then you're not gonna turn away any food that I cook for you or prepare.
I will eat anything. Listen, I've eaten fucking whale, dolphin, seal.
whale.
I've eaten what?
I want to eat a whale.
Whale was
She gonna be eating whale all right just as soon as I free Willie.
Whale was good if it's smoked. If it's like done native style, it's not so good. It's like a weird gelatinous thing.
It's raw. As Gordon Ramsay says, that meat's raw. I can't do a British accent.
No, you can't.
Good eye, Mike.
Very good. All right.
Hey,
Well,
let me ask you something.
what?
You're stuck on an island.
Yeah.
You gonna choose the Professor, Crocodile Dundee,
Uh-huh.
or
Uh-huh.
or